Hello everybody, welcome to episode 58 of the Contest Round podcast. If you don't know already, we are available on YouTube, we've got a playlist, SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes. Please follow on those respective types of podcast things that we get out to people, because it does massively help out. You know, one day we might want that Spotify paid gig, and then, you know, Dan and I can give up our day jobs. Will it happen? Who knows? But you can follow Dan, who is also the co-host of the Contest Round podcast, at www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog. Links are always in the bio. Dan's also on Twitter, out on the tag at frontlinemcoc, and that's a capital F and capital M in MCOC. Hey, Dan. New week.
Rich. Hey, how we doing?
Doing good. It's well, apart from the few issues, it seems to be, as soon as we record a podcast, stuff goes wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I remember when you were promoting last week's episode, you were like, guys, just so you know, a lot of stuff broke in between us recording this and us releasing this. So be kind, because I think, what was it? Was it Saturday that was...
We had the side event.
The AQ Mayhem.
And side event.
Okay, yeah,
because we learned...
with the bug in the side event.
Yeah, we learned that the... you could not repeat... Oh, God. Why, honestly, sometimes you just go, why did I put a side event? I had to abandon a video. I think it was after we went to podcast, it was Saturday morning. I can't remember when it was. I was like, okay, well, I've got this video, and I'm like, it's really good. I think I talked about on Sunday. I talked about on the podcast about it was going to be uploaded, where we looked about the idea of potentially, if you follow this scheme, you can get a fully formed 6-star. Then late Friday, early Saturday, whatever you want to call it, info broke that you could not repeat the event. It would kind of like mean you get a full set of rewards. If you grab rewards, quit out, you go back in and see none of the rewards on the paths. Funny enough, even a week after, I got messaged by somebody two people, one person in my Discord, another person that just DM'd me, and I was like, dude, you're in my Discord. I posted a video about this. Kabam put a message out in game, and I would say, to Kabam's credit, to a degree, let's not mess about it. There's buggy stuff. We don't like it. It ain't cool. But at least they are messaging people in game about this stuff. So I must say, well done, Kabam, on the communication. Sorry, your game's a bit scuffed.
Yeah. So I do like the more prominent pop-ups that they're doing now when there's an issue, and they're a lot more timely. I feel like a year or two ago, it was just on the forums, and if you weren't on the forums or didn't have someone checking the forums in your alliance, you could be quite clueless about these things. So I'm glad that they found a way to deliver messages a little more in a little more of a time-sensitive manner. Saturday was crazy with Alliance Quest. So I was actually out playing Pokemon Go. Yeah. I was just strolling around the neighborhood, trying to upgrade, some Pokemon. And my phone starts blowing up, and it's just, Twitter line. What's going on with AQ? And going and check the CCP Discord and, find out that apparently there was only 27 minutes left to complete Alliance Quest.
Oh, yeah.
3 minutes in, and then are they going to reset it? They do, and it's still messed up, and then they just had to cancel the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we did get the week off, which was very relaxing. Very nice. I enjoyed having my Human Torch readily available for Cavalier difficulty, and to make a little more progress in Variant 6. And we just, probably about an hour before we started recording, we just got the Alliance Quest compensation. Which is just for everybody. So my Thronebreaker account that plays Map 7 all day, every day, and my Frontline Junior, which is in the middle of Act 4, has not completed Act 4 yet, got the same stuff. So, I think that's causing a little bit of salt in the community, because it's the same. from my point of view, the week off was the best compensation you could give me.
Yeah.
I look at it like this is stuff I got for doing nothing. And I very much enjoyed having a week off, because there's never a week off in Alliance Quest. It's not like Alliance War where at least with my alliance, we do 1 BG during the off season. So that's like 2 weeks off, 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off for Alliance War for me, which helps so much. So to get a week off from Alliance Quest, I would like the rewards, but honestly, like the free time and just getting a breather was the best thing for me. But the forums, they aren't happy.
No, I got it open at the moment. One particular person, our alliance runs map 7 and we get 10% 5 class weekly and tier 5 basic shards. This compensation is a joke. This is the reward for map 4 alley. So even as you said with Frontline Junior. Okay, here's the more extreme one. How dare you, Kabam, give these compensations to players that run full epic AQ7 and give the same things to accounts that usually run AQ2. Besides, I spent 60 tickets and only received 30. Did you think about it before saying this would compensate the Alliance Quest that you've stolen from us? Stolen, Dan, stolen. Where is my weekly 10% tier 5 catalyst? Look, I think that's the other thing of kind of like, I get it. Because there's, regardless of this being down, there are players out there that would have wanted to do it. Which means that those are going like, I want to do it. I obviously want to get what I get back from it. This is going to be the problem side of things. I'm trying to find the response back from, because I know this forum thread has been.
Mike did respond.
I'll read this out for the people listening and obviously watching. Hi everybody, thank you for your feedback. This is a little insight. This is a universal package that was delivered to all summoners in an alliance and was our way of apologising for the issues that we had last weekend. Caused us not to have AQ for this series. I see a lot of people referencing previous compensation packages for Alliance Quest that are based on the previous series performance, but aren't taking into account that those are usually given when there is an issue partway through the series or causes an alliance to put in as much effort as they usually do and not able to perform as well as they should. Historically, if there is a series of Alliance Quest that is skipped but is planned, there is no compensation because nobody has to play that week. In this case, there was no series, but it was unplanned. We decided that we would like to give a gift to all players as our way of saying sorry for the issues and thanks for your patience. This is not the same situation as we mentioned before, and the packages are not the same as the kind of packages we would give players that had been given their all but were unable to perform as well as they would if there was an issue. But once again, thank you for your feedback. We will keep in mind when deciding how to deal with future instances, which still has not got down very well, with 29 people disagreeing and 6 people agreeing. So it's a bit of a difficult one to win over the community on this. I'm kind of like in a very weird situation looking at this because I had just joined. Would that be the day that I would join? No, I would have. It sort of saved me and it sort of hasn't. I've now moved into our sister alliance, which is more AQ focused, and they're going to start evolving into running full sequences of, I hope, map 7. But at least there's kind of that kind of narrative now. I'm pushing towards more of what, say, similar to what you're doing, but what you get back is kind of more valuable from a point of roster development, getting more things like tier 5 class catalyst, which is where I want to be and where I want to go. So it's a bit of an odd one to go, where's the line with this? I'm happy for the week off, but at the same time, I really do understand where map 7 players would have wanted to get more from the not like say I want to get more from the downtime. They would have wanted to have done map 7 to get what they normally get out of this. So it's a bit of an odd one.
The guys at the top are always willing to do more work for more stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The nice thing is, at least with the glory store reduction, the 3,000 glory we've got, that basically is 2 free 5% tier 5 class catalyst from the Glory store over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you think about it that way, maybe it'll make you feel a little better. I don't know.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I'm choosing to look at it. I don't have any rank up that's like just on the cusp, and these rewards, if they were the same as last week, would have pushed me over the edge. But I could see if you're in that position, you're gonna be impatient.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. Yeah, so I think there's a very much mixed bag with response from people. I think the majority is like they would have liked to have seen a full series of sequence as opposed to what they saw. But unfortunately, that's the cards that Caban want to deal us in a situation.
Yeah, I think the one thing that is totally legit is the people that entered twice but only got 30 tickets back.
That's definitely
That's 100% legit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're fixing that. I mean, it's probably a good idea to send a ticket in.
Yeah.
If you're in that unique situation, specifically regarding the tickets.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you are listening and that's happened to you, send in a ticket on that particular situation. Right, so we had some new content that was put out, and that was Variant 7. Have you managed to get any time into this, Dan?
I have not. I have been working on Variant 6. I'm one behind, so I've been working on. I was in the middle of Variant 6, and I don't know. I can't switch gears and go from one to the other. So
it's a headspace thing.
I have not. It's a headspace thing. I've started something, and I need to see it through. So that's where I'm at. But I saw that you've already done several guides, and you were prepping people all week with different hero scenarios, and you've done that. I know you've done at least an initial completion, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And how are you feeling about it?
I really like it. There's some fights that are kind of like a bit. The Venom fight is a bit of it's a little bit frustrating, and I think you have to get a little bit lucky. I've tried a couple of methods with it. I know that I think it's Rob Van Show, or is it Rob Van Shu?
Yes, Rob Van Shu, yes.
Rob Van Shu. It sounds like one of those names in it. It's like Fu Manchu. It just rolls off your tongue. So I saw, I was going to do a video, but then I thought, I can't be really bothered with this because it's going to be ridiculous. So I was talking on stream about the idea of Ronan with his interaction with buff champions and taken against Venom. Rob did particular experimentation.
Yeah, he did.
With a 2-star, and I think it was like 900 hits, and I just thought, no, I was going to take in a 4-star, and I thought, no, I'm not even going to bother about that, because what would a 4-star would only take it down. I think I estimated it, and it was like 66 damage I think I'd do or something. So, and I think I calculated the rate, was it something like that? 66 damage per hit or something. In any case, I don't know if that was the case. I can't 100% remember. I'm going to do the calculations, but I was like, no, F that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to send it as a video. So I went back and tried Mr. Sinister. Mr. Fantastic as the synergy champion, and then the lead champion would be Red Guardian. Tried it out once. Actually, even though I thought I'd enjoy it because I'd be able to block unblockable, I didn't enjoy it, funnily enough, and I just went back to Hyperion and SP2 stun locking. Believe it or not, that's quite fun.
Cool.
But yeah, there's loads of kind of like nice little interactions, and it does unfortunately end with a weird, because I was like, oh yeah, do you know, I'm really enjoying this variant, but it opens up the can of worms to this variant's too easy from the top end, or this variant I didn't have the specific champions available as a mid-level player kind of a scenario. And those two type of scenarios collide to a point where you go,
as they always do.
Right, okay, where are we up to with this? And it brings up that theological question about where we're up to with this. And this is why me and you come to this point where we have to deep dive it about what is an endgame player. Again, where is a variant in the scheme of things with an endgame player? So Dan, where the hell do we start with this then?
Well, I think one good thing to look at is the rewards for variants. And if you're a Thronebreaker player, those generally fall in the nice to have.
Yeah.
Category. Like those aren't Thronebreaker rewards. They're mostly geared towards the 5-star rank up gems. Like that's probably the majority of the rewards. There's some 6-star shards, but you're not forming a full 6-star.
Yeah.
And there's that T5CC 25% random at the end, which is certainly nice to have. But it's mostly geared toward mature, uncollected, and probably beginner mid-tier Cavalier players, right?
Yeah.
That's where the difficulty is, because that's where the rewards are. So, I mean, I can't see, if you're a Thronebreaker, saying, well, it should be harder. The rewards certainly don't justify it being harder, and Kabam said it's not aimed to those people. So, and I think that's fine, but I think your follow-up to that is, well, something should be aimed for those people, though.
Yeah.
and I think we both agree on that. But there's been a lot of conversation about that, and you know, I sort of get why those players are frustrated. You know, I have a lot of stuff still to do in this game. I still got Variant 6, still got Variant 7, still got to get back into Act 6. So, you know, I'm not bored. I've got a long string of content to do.
Yeah.
But if you're 100% everything and you've built up this 6-star rank 3 roster, you want something that tests that roster, which is totally fair. And that does have to be addressed. I think what happened is, if you go back a year, this time last year, we're talking, you know, the big kerfuffle about everything leading to the roadmaps, people quitting, people moving down alliances, like the game looking like it was in trouble. You know, I think there's been some revisionist history about that from the people that want really, really hard content, saying, oh, Act 6 was so great. It was what I wanted. They never, you know, they shouldn't have listened to the complainers on the Act 7 beta. And it's like, guys, if that Act 7 beta had been released, it would have killed the game.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that would have killed the game. So they had to reorient. They had to take Act 6 down so people could get through it and get to something that was more fun. And it's one of those, did by fixing a problem, did they create another problem? Yes, they did. By making the content more about understanding who to bring, and taking it down a notch, and the attack values, and having set lane identities, and like Act 6.2.5, where you have to read a novel every single fight. You know, they made it easier. They did, but they had to, because it would have killed the game. But yeah, that helped a lot more people than it hurt. But the people that did get hurt in that process have not seen it come back around to them yet, have they?
No.
And that's, I think, where the legitimate complaint is. I think the other big factor for that is the fact that a lot of those players are in high-tier Alliance War, which seems to be very stale from what those players are saying. So it's like, you're talking about the most competitive people don't have anything to test them right now. So yeah, they're not going to be happy with that. I get all of that, but I don't think the answer for that was to release a jacked up variant that was going to just destroy everybody.
No,
I think it has to be something else.
No, and I think from what we've like, Kabam are working on something. We can't talk about that in any kind of detail.
No,
and the thing is, we can't even say, like, will it be a solution to that? Again, can't talk about that at the moment, but it will be something, right? And then winding back a bit, we've already always talked about this. It's great that when people come to the game that they go, hey, I've got Cavalier. When do you get Cavalier? It took me about 6 months. It took me 2 weeks. It took me nothing when it came to time. Actually, I wouldn't think it'd take 2 weeks. A lot of the people that are familiar with the game or know of the game or kind of like high kind of like knowledge of the game are able to do a new account and then get Cavalier in 2 weeks. Okay, but that's an unrealistic scenario when it comes to new players. Essentially, let's just say 6 months or a year. in that time, it is very unlikely that you have cultivated a roster of great expanse. We've talked about the idea of the roster that is slim but not wide in coverage. And this is one of these solutions. It's two-pronged solution to variance. It helps out new players kind of what's the word? Elevate one's roster from out of Cavalier or roundabout Cavalier.
Yes.
But also, what it does is it allows you to have access to these gems. These gems reduce the cost of you kind of like spending tier 2 alpha. Yes, okay, they're very specific. But with Kabam's buffing, and we've already said this goes with variant hand in hand, as Kabam buff champions of like older narrative, then you're able to bring those up. That can be quite helpful for your roster moving forward. So there's I do see it from the high end perspective that they definitely need something challenging. Is it a new of Legends type event? That is going to be a very much on the fence thing, because it still falls into, you've got the highly skilled people that will be able to do content without even dropping a parry, and I'm talking like, just it's the constant kind of constant intercept,
constant intercepting. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, how fast can Kabam start to pump that out? Because we're talking to some of these people, they're saying, oh, variant 7's too easy. You're checking, you're watching, it's like, dude, it came out 3 hours ago.
Yeah,
like, how did you have time to do this already? I don't have time to do this yet.
I mean, yeah, I was right. I think it's for me, I was writing, I went live at about 8 p.m. and then I did a 3-hour stream, but as I was doing it, I was literally I was writing my completion guide alongside it. So it was like, I tried to kill two birds with one stone so I could record something the next day. But it was just one of these things where, I kind of like, then I'll wake up in the morning and find out like somebody said, oh, I've done this in like 4 hours or something. And it's like, man, I don't have that time. I was in bed. I don't want to wake up because I'm staying up all night kind of playing a mobile game. Well, I don't know if that was to say, it's like it's pretty sad to do that, but it's kind of like, well, it's partly my job, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I kind of feel like
you can only go so fast.
Yeah, I think getting a good night's sleep is probably of more value to me than kind of going, oh, let's rush through this content, because, but it's different time zones. That's the other thing. It's different time zones. It would have been a lot earlier in the US. Southern American countries. It
drops in the middle of the workday in the U.S. So
oh god, yeah.
It's 1 p.m. my time. It drops, but yeah, I totally agree about. You have to just look at it's like, all right, what is this content? Who is it designed for? Understand? Are you the target? And that goes both ways. Like if you're a conqueror and you're like, variant's too hard, it's like you're not ready. If you're a throne breaker, you say, you know what, you're past the point where this is really geared toward you. I think there is a perspective, a player perspective, where anything new should be geared exactly to where I am at this moment.
Yeah.
Which is impossible for a game that probably has 500,000 players.
This is the other.
So
when I was thinking a little bit more about this, is what if Kabam have a very difficult idea of placing content on difficulty based on the higher percentage of say where the player base is. I'm gonna have to explain this more further. So imagine, say the player base is 1 million people, out of like daily kind of like, I think 1 million people. They've got 500,000 people that they refer to as the content they design it for. So if they're going, okay, we've got variants, we've got players that have, X amount of 5-star champions at 565, X amount of 6 stars at this kind of level, they are this, and this. It's kind of like applying content difficulty to data of the player base.
I would bet they do that.
Yeah, and I would
think so.
Thank God you're with me, because I think I've probably lost a few people not being able to explain myself. See, that's why some people say that me and Dan have a good rapport, because Dan knows what I'm talking about. Even though it's complete nonsense at times. But yeah, I guess that's the thing of going like, okay, right, well, we've got we've got to build a variant, or we've got to build act here. We've got this is who we're going to make it for. And say if like the top part of the surface is those 100,000 players who are kind of like the pinnacle, the tippity top. You know, they are great players, or maybe the stats, the data kind of shows that they have done Abyss, they've done this, and they've done that. And Kabam go, okay, so we've got 100,000 people that have 100% of Abyss, 100% of Act 6, Act 7, all the variants. We will have to make time to build the content for them, but Kabam have to make more time for it, to make it more complex, to make it more competitive, to make it more challenging, where the variant is kind of like, okay, look, we can do about 3 of these a year. Let's push this out. It will do well for them. They can start elevating or trying to get up into that kind of, so that 100,000 becomes more of a 500,000 or maybe 600,000. And I don't know if that, I'm just guessing what Kabam might do, but I kind of feel at times maybe that's where they're thinking when they're putting new content difficulties together.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I think especially with their design philosophy since the roadmap started, they're trying to release content that plays to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And I think that is a direct result of feedback of Act 6 and the original Act 7.1 beta.
Which is, it's odd because like I'm happy with where they're going, but again, I kind of feel I may be in that 500,000 type example, in that, you know, I can't devote all of my time, even though I cover this for my living, I can't devote the grind time to the game. I literally have to book out time in order to do it. It's either I do 2 hours, maybe 3 hours on a stream and do a chunk of the content, but then it's a case I have to catch up. I think even though some people have kind of like, you know, say, 100% this, 100% of that, I always feel like I'm kind of like I'm always trying to catch up, and I've got people coming to me and saying, Rich, I'm struggling to keep up with you, and I'm thinking like, Christ, I can't even keep up with people. Like I've got to.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's like Marvel.
That's the thing. It's you know, yes, there should be content for the people at the top, but there's, you know, it's just like, you know, Seaton clearing Abyss in the first 6 hours. Like, you know, the people at the top are gonna find a way to get through this stuff. Yeah, and they're gonna get through it quick. So it's hard. It's a tough spot for the designers, but I do hope that they release something that is truly nasty for you folks that you know really want to get tested.
Yeah,
I do hope you folks get what you want.
I hope you get something challenging as well. Right, I was gonna like talk on briefly persistent charges, which is a bit of a, just only briefly talk about this because I want to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4. So the persistent charges thing is a bit weird at the moment because I don't really hear much of like what Kabam are doing to fix it at times, and especially since the last few months this has kind of like sprung up. In the last week got a really kind of like, I don't know, a big spike of...
It seemed to flare up, at least according to the channels I was monitoring, yes.
And there's some really weird interaction. So I featured on Friday's edition of the MCOC News this kind of an example of interaction with the champion. And how this worked, I don't know. Because it was a persistent charges based issue, the champion was getting upwards of 99 Furies and was doing 35k basic hits.
What?
Yeah, and 55k crits anytime that would happen. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it's still a thing. I know Kabam have tried, as they said in the response, was they tried to do a fix, but it reverted back. It's definitely been a very weird one. Apart from all the AQ failure, the side event failure, it's definitely been something. And the thing is, that could have caused it. And even though I kind of think, well, that's persistent based thing. How would that be an interaction? Well, anything can really happen with this game. They kind of sort out one thing, and it kind of like messes up something else.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like persistent charges have been an ongoing issue since November. Or so. Definitely stretching back into 2020. The champion is a persistent charge champion, who I do have it ranked too as a 6-star. I can't remember having any issues with him and his persistent charges. I've definitely been bitten by the Nick Fury one. The Human Torch one has happened to me, not a lot, but I do bring both those champions to AQ on occasion, which is not which is not where you want to lose your persistent charge.
No, not at all.
So yeah, I don't know, but I think I know we've said this before. The problem is the inconsistency.
Yeah.
With it, and why does it pop up intermittently? That's the hardest kind of a problem to fix.
Yeah, I know that I've had it in my favor. So I had it when I did my 100%ing of 6.3.2. I had 2 runs in phase 2, and I was like, happy days. This is just like, this is beautiful. Zero effort, and it was just like, okay, you're just gonna melt down to 30% health. That's fine with me. You can do that. I had it once in my favor when I had it twice against me when I did my I think it was Gwemperian. Is it Gwemperian? It might have been Gwemperian.
In 716?
Yeah, 716.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too nice. I was annoyed about that because I think using my Nick Fury in the path clearing, not the boss, but I should have been more specific. I think it was just the path clearing side of things. So yeah, that's the thing. But apart from that, I hope this is going to get. It's not going to be one of those bugs that lasts for a year. I can't remember the last time something like that happened, but it's definitely stings people at the wrong time for pre-fights. So
yeah,
we'll have to see. Okay, something that we're going to move on and talk about now is going to be episode 4. If you don't know already, we talk about episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier and any other Disney Plus shows a week later, so that you really avoid you from spoiling. Wow, John Walker is gone all evil, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were building to this, right? But this was the one that really broke the internet.
Yeah.
As far as like the kind of the outrage and the not my cap, all that kind of stuff, and even to the point where I think some people had to like step in and be like, hey, like the actor that plays John Walker is just an actor, guys.
Yeah. Funnily enough,
right?
One of the actors that first auditioned for Captain America, which I think is a kind of...
Yes, he did. Auditioned for Captain America way back when they were casting for the first Avenger. So it's a little weird that it's come full circle, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot in this episode, but of course, John Walker was the big takeaway, and it was very interesting to see him sort of slowly. I want to say like he kind of slowly like disintegrated to the point where he needed to take the super soldier serum. Like that he found. Oh God, try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Oh man, walked into that one. But yeah, I mean he took a lot of hits in this episode to get to that point.
Yeah, I think it was like there was loads of things, as you said, just like whittled him down. When I can't remember the name of the Wakandan bodyguards. They got a name.
Dora Milaje and Io. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, looking strong, John.
Looking strong. Oh, what that line of the week. I mean, Bucky is he is that kid from your high school to John, just looking strong, John. Like, oh, what a burn. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, John starting to feel powerless. A decorated soldier. He's kind of, he believes he's Captain America. He's trying to live up to that. So, of course, the Dora Milaje take him out really, really easily, which isn't great. He's getting his butt kicked by super soldiers. His buddy's in trouble. And, I mean, you could also see it in the scene where Sam is talking to Carly and everyone else is waiting. And I mean, they don't go right out and say it, but it really feels like he was suffering from some sort of PTSD, as well. So I do have some sympathy for the character. Now, I've seen the previews of episode 5 and 6, which makes me think that's all going to go away. But part of me is like, who put this guy in this position? Like, it feels like they took someone who's got the resume and looks the part, but they never gave him a psych evaluation.
Yeah,
and they said, go be Captain America. Like who are the people in charge of this guy? And I'm sure they're not going to want to give up on him now that he's an actual super soldier either.
Yeah.
Right?
The way that there's, like you said, like, who put him in there, like that's the thing that I've always kind of like a question, and I would have liked to have had a bit more kind of from that perspective of, I understand the need to put in a new Captain America, but why this guy? Why really this guy? And I think they've gone with the narrative of like, well, most governments go, okay, let's find our most decorated, army, navy, Air Force, whoever it is, person, and go, look, this is going to be the most ideal person, which is exactly what Captain America, Steve Rogers, was not. Steve Rogers was someone who wanted to do his part to help others, but this one is like, it's kind of like, he wants to emulate that, but he wants to be better than that. Too perfect. He wants to be too perfect, and the problem is when you kind of go for perfection, you end up turning into a bit of a fascist to a degree. Even worse when you take the super soldier serum, and they do say that it can turn you, and that's why the when Steve Rogers is going through his training, he says, what about so and so? He's he's decorated, he's a proper soldier, he'll do as you're told. Not him. He's a bully.
Right, he's a bully.
And that's I think where it goes back to the good doctor's choice between
I mean, everything Erskine said 80 years ago in the first Avenger holds up.
Yeah.
to this day in the narrative. And then of course John gets pushed to the breaking point. His buddy Battlestar has been captured. He knows his buddy's in trouble. He knows he's outnumbered. And he makes a choice that, let's be frank, a lot of people would be tempted to make in his same position.
Yeah. Right?
You've got an answer, you've got an out. You can save the day if you make this choice like that. I think that's part of the reaction that this all gets, is because people kind of like, they don't like the choices he's made and where it leads. But you can, I mean, if you're honest with yourself, like, you can say, I can understand like how that series of events unfolded that way, and maybe making a similar mistake. Right? Because I mean, they make it really clear, right? Like, Zemo asks Sam, would you take it? And Sam's like, nope, not gonna take it. But John makes a different choice, and then of course the battle ensues with Carly's forces, and his buddy Battlestar gets killed trying to save John. And those don't seem to be two guys that were just thrown together. They have a history, and I think genuinely like each other. Brothers in arms kind of thing. So and John just snaps after that. And it's not, and I know we get the whole, like, the imagery, right, of the bloody shield, right? And everyone's taking the cell phone, and that's the thing. But it's, for me, it's more like, where does John go from there? At least, I don't know, I haven't watched the episode yet. I think you probably have, but it seems like, at least according to the trailers, I don't see a lot of self-reflection for John and his actions. So, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. But this is coming to, I think, the most predictable head that we expected, right? Which is, there's going to be a showdown for the shield.
Yeah, there is. There's always something being rumored, and I've seen episode 5, but all I'm going to say is that there's a cameo This was teased by it said it was a cameo of a character that's not been in the MCU that's going to be in episode 5. So that is something that's going to either change things in the future or it's not going to. Those are going to be the things.
Big league tease, Rich.
Exactly.
But there was a lot of other great stuff besides John Walker in this episode. Some questions answered. I mean, right at the start of the episode, what did you think about Bucky and sort of his deprogramming in Wakanda and finally getting to see that?
Oh, that was beautiful. I think that's the thing about this show is it has a lot of these kind of important, emotional and very.
It fills in the context.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot kind of like context gaps that are kind of like put in, and it's brilliant. Whether we've got Isaiah, whether or not we've got this stuff with Bucky, it's all important. And I think it's so deep to find out like the emotion of the character once he's kind of like, I don't need to worry about this programming being done to me.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful to see the emotion release.
Or just even Io's line, I won't let you hurt anybody.
Yes.
Like just because that, just that's the thing he's most afraid of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she just walks him through his code words and he makes it through and he's not affected by it anymore. Like it was awesome to get to see something that we kind of assumed must have happened along the way. But I love the flashbacks. And moving on from Bucky, our favorite villain, Zemo, coming off a lot more sinister for me in this episode. Like he's got his dancing out of the way, and now he's back to the agenda. Yeah,
don't trust the other guys. Like just like here's some candy, here's some Turkish delight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so annoying because like I really like him, and it's annoying because part of me doesn't feel like he's like a villain, but he's sort of like a even worse a villain because he's sinister. But on the face of it, I just enjoy a lot of the stuff.
It's well done.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You don't know where he's going with things. You don't know what his angle is. It's a lot of what makes Loki so good.
Yeah.
As well.
I think that's you nail on head there. It's like a Loki type character. 1 minute he could be pointing a gun and blowing someone's brains out. The next minute he's like, do you want to drink a scotch or something like that? Drink a whiskey, and it's just like, okay, we're taking this crazy train. I like it.
It was interesting to see him get a little bit rattled when Bucky loses it on him.
Yeah.
And after Bucky walks away, and he just goes, whew. Like that is just some sort of acknowledgement. Like, okay, like if I wasn't able to talk my way out of that, I would have been in real trouble.
Yeah.
which was kind of cool to see. But of course, Zemo takes his opportunity to pull the El Chapo.
Yeah.
And ducks out, and now he is on his own with his millions and his private jet, and we'll see which of the super soldiers he's going after next. You've got to assume John Walker's on his list now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot going on with Zemo. And as much as we've talked about everybody but Sam is still the heart of the show. And I wrote in the notes, Sam Wilson, voice of reason, because I really feel that's what he is. Like he's the only one in the show that takes the time to consider his actions, consider other people's actions, consider the consequences of those actions, because John and Carly they're really just the same thing. Especially now that John's a super soldier. They both think they're right all the time, and that whatever they have to do to accomplish their goals is fine because they know they're right. Where Sam is like, guys, the process matters here. And that's why I like Sam so much. I've always liked the character, but to really kind of see him as sort of the moral anchor of the whole thing has been quite interesting and frustrating at the same point when John undoes so much of his work.
Yeah, because then it just goes like, well, John is definitely not the one to be Captain America. Where Steve Rogers, in his own way, would kind of like try to look at reason, but still, Steve Rogers was still as rebellious, especially if you look at the Sokovian Accords.
Oh, right, yeah.
But Sam, I think, is better because he's doing it his own way.
Yes.
But still is trying to kind of like not make people believe, because I think people would believe that he would be the best candidate to be a Captain America. But what this new narrative of Captain America should be is bringing people together in a very what is post-blip world, and that's what the world needs, not what John Walker or the old ways of Steve Rogers would have been. So
yeah.
it just works really well. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, just a really well done episode all around. Really well written. A lot of tension in the action. Just well, you consider how much happened in like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And how fast it goes. I mean, we talk about this every week, but it's like it's a fast 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and they got a lot to wrap up in 2 episodes. I don't assume they will wrap up everything. I would think Carly's storyline with the Flag Smashers does get somewhat resolved, and they have to, the Shield's got to go one way or the other. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these characters, especially Zemo, playing a bigger role in down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we better move over and talk a little bit about Marvel Realm. It was all quiet, and then all of a sudden we've got update 3.0.
We have news and stuff, or at least teasers of stuff, right? We don't really know the explanations for all this. As far as 3.0, there's a bunch of stuff about gear levels and Avenger tier coming. I think the headline is clearly Thor finally joining the contest, which is great, and 2 weapons, Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, which is exciting.
Yeah, and I don't know if that will be down the line. They'll look to bring that in to have a Realm crossover contest. As I said before, like it's always a very kind of like, I guess Kabam weren't ready to put the update out in April, so not that can't really stars align for Silver Centurion and Thor Stormbreaker. It's just not going to be a thing. But I hope that maybe they do a crossover thing down the line with that. But it's just a shame, because it's like, it's not a missed opportunity, but it does in a degree to kind of go like, okay, well, look, contest people, check out this. I decided to abandon my video, which was kind of looking at what we talked about in the podcast, the idea of like, look, you should be looking to incentivize people to play Realm by kind of allowing something of a Kabam account, make progression in Kabam-related games, and it doesn't have to be about Realm, but it could be make big progress in X Kabam-related game and kind of then swap over some sort of currency from one to the other. But apart from that, at least to say, yes, we've got 3.0. Yes, we've got solo-based PvE. So we've got Pinnacle quests. So that's cool.
That I'm very excited about.
Yeah,
that could be the solution I've been looking for.
Because it's time, really. Because like a lot of the time, going, okay, do I have an hour to grind contest? Do I want to spend an hour in another type of game? And like that's for me. I'm like, at the moment, I'm more
if
contest.
you got 10 minutes, maybe you just want to do something solo. Like I would feel bad sending someone an invite, doing one arena battle with them, and then ducking out.
Yeah, that's true. You just want to do your dailies. I get it, but it's like you're right. It's like I don't want to waste people's time, and I don't want to hop around. This is why I like lower grinding. But as soon as my champions get higher, I'm like, oh well, I need to be doing this. I need to be in a group of 3. Can't rely on, can't rely on the bots, because the bots are terrible.
Yeah.
Just can't rely on bots to like save my butt. But that's really the thing, isn't it? The gear levels, I don't know if that's meant to be about the ranking of the gear. Is it meant, when it says gear levels, is it like further ranks, or is it
I don't know. It says a refresh on gear and progression. I mean, that's pretty vague.
Yeah.
This isn't like detailed release notes. This is a teaser.
Yeah.
And the update's not coming until May 4th, so we're still like almost 3 weeks away, 2.5, 3 weeks away from that. So looks like we'll get more info on it. One thing that I haven't seen yet that I'm kind of interested in is, wasn't there supposed to be something about where we could like change the look of our gear so that we could get like a consistent look to the character? Is that still coming?
I don't know with that. There's a lot of stuff that was teased for 2021 but still haven't come to pass. Matchmaking's not under there, and I think that matchmaking was and is one of the key things. I know somebody was having a discussion with me about it, and I just said there's whatever the algorithm is doing, it is not taking certain things to an account. When it's doing some kind of like search to find another player, it's not grabbing a fair enough gear rating mixed with understanding if you've got one enemy that's 1250 BR with a battle rating, for those who don't know, with a 1300 gear rating, and then has two people in as two other players with them that say are 1000 apiece with a 1100. If it then gives you a team that's like all three of you are 1100, then that's not technically a fair matchup, because there will be one player that will more than likely, if they've got better synergies, they've got better gear, they will probably play better, or they out damage you and your team. So it's just kind of like how it understands variables like that, or it goes further to understand gear rating and just fairly matching up, which currently it is not doing. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, I would settle with being matched with Storms and Sorcerer Supremes who will stand behind me when I'm playing a Super Soldier.
That's
like,
true.
Don't run right at the Hulk. That's all I ask. I mean, I'm a simple man, Rich. I just need my randomly matched teammates who are playing ranged opponents to play playing ranged characters to play them as ranged characters. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
That would make me feel much better about the game. But it's kind of why I want this solo mode, because like at some point, like I don't want my frustration with the game to be directed at other people.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes I don't feel like spending the time. Actually, most of the time, I don't feel like spending the time to either. Well, if there's people I know who are online, okay, but that seems to be very rare. So there's like, all right, who am I gonna find, or I'll just do a random. I'll get what I get. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's a bot. Sometimes it's not very good at all. So that's kind of the thing is and why I think the game's had so much trouble is you're so dependent on others that someone else can really ruin your day quick.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll come back for a month. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to hit up maybe my old alliance, or even like my old alliance. But I don't know if anybody from that group is still playing anymore. But it's just going to be a case of like, am I going to get any kind of enjoyment out of it? Does it go back to the overly grindy stuff when I was doing 9 hours of grind over a weekend on Realm, and thinking to myself, like, I could have spent 9 hours playing contest. To be honest, when I was doing that, I wasn't actually doing a lot of stuff around the house and my admin for the channel guide and kind of like video preparation. Since the last 2 weeks that I've done that, like I've kind of like gone away from it. I've had more value to my time. I've been able to do more housework. I've been able to write and prepare my videos better. So I don't know if I'd ever go back to that extent of grind, especially like with just time, really.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if that grind was generating videos which were racking up a ridiculous amount of views.
That's the other thing, yeah.
So it's it's kind of like you have to look at it like a business. So
yeah, that's the other side of things,
which is the tricky thing. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, and I play games that I will do videos on, but I enjoy the game first. Like I play like once a week. I tried to live stream Call of Duty Warzone, and it's like it's just a friendly vibe that I kind of like get with doing it. And that's nice to kind of just have a little bit of a break away from MCOC, because it becomes too much. If I then go, okay, I'm doing 3 hours grinding MCOC tonight, and it's like the next time I'm like, oh, I need something else. I need a break. But when Marvel Future Revolution comes out, which I'm going to like devote a lot of time to, when Diablo Immortal comes out and I want to devote a lot of time to, it's going to be difficult to balance all these games. And unfortunately, if there's one game isn't like, if it's becoming too grindy, or I need to kind of go, am I getting any kind of benefit from it to go, look, well, let's push this a bit more on the channels, then yeah, you're right, I'm going to have to think elsewhere, which is sad, but unfortunately these things happen.
Yeah, well, hopefully version 3.0 is a good shot in the arm for Realm.
Absolutely.
So we will be staying tuned for all the details on the update, and looking forward to that first week of May.
Absolutely. Right, Dan, next week, what are you up to? What content are you looking to either do or push out and stuff?
Let's see. So my last guide for Act 7.1 should be dropping today when we're listening to this when you're listening to this on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So then I am in the middle of Variant 6, so that's what I'm working on as far as content and guides. Mm-hmm. And other than that, just grinding a lot of Arena, just kind of chilling out, listening to some music.
Nice.
Doing a lot of Arena, getting that unit stash over 18K for 4th of July. Mm-hmm. It's never too early to start your 4th of July grind. So that's really where I'm at. Variant 6 and as many units as I can get.
Fantastic. What am I doing? I need to get my Cavalier cheat sheet 3.0 out, which I need to put in the other older nodes because Kaban re-rolled them back on. And then I've got a load of crystal openings as I take a week off, because there's something to let you know, Dan, is I won't be recording the podcast next Friday because I'll be having a small break. So there's going to be no podcast next week, unless, Dan, you've got any time, but I'll have to, earlier than that, I'll have to talk to you off that.
Yeah, you're reminding me, because I have my second COVID shot during our usual window.
Then
to record next Friday.
Then we're having a break. We'll have a week off.
We're having a break. I'm getting the vaccine. You're doing your stuff, and but that's okay, because there's not going to be much to talk about with MCOC. It's not going to be much next week, and 2 weeks from now will be the big release note. Absolutely, yeah. So that'll be when the news dump is. So that works out perfectly. I love it when a plan comes together, said Hannibal from the A-Team. So there we go. Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening. Make sure you're following on the respective platforms. You can find Dan in the link in the description and bios, and as well as myself. And we'll see you very soon for episode 59. Bye-bye.